top stories. Prime Minister Harris to host Help a Child program. Jamaica's police crack down on curfew violators and soldiers open fire on protesters in Nigeria. Hello and welcome to the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Today is Tuesday, October 21st, 2020. I am your presenter, Shaira Flanders. Nationally, students attending primary schools in constituency number 7 will be awarded scholarships as Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris hosts the 17th annual Help a Child Scholarship Program. Speaking in the most recent edition of Leadership Matters on ZIZ TV, Press Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, Valencia Grant, outlined the history of the program.
17 years ago, Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris founded the Help a Child Primary School Scholarship Program to assist children from constituency number 7, Bellevue to Otley's, who showed academic potential and financial need. Over the years, more than 700 recipients have benefited from Dr. Harris's scholarship program, which enlists a number of entities to support his philanthropic efforts.
Ms. Grant spoke of the significance of the program at this time.
The COVID-19 pandemic has increased the stress on household budgets, and that's why the 17th annual Help a Child program, which will be held this coming Thursday at Mount Carmel Baptist Church in Borio, takes on even greater significance in light of the global economic downturn.
Each student will receive $500 bursaries. Since its inception, the Help a Child program has gifted each child with $500 each, resulting in a $350,000 disbursement to date. Hosted under the distinguished patronage of Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris, the 17th annual Help a Child program will be held at the Mount Carmel Baptist Church at 5 p.m. In other news, the free movement of skills and people through the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, or CSME, will be the topic on the government's radio and television program Working for You on Wednesday, October 21st, 2020. The special guests will be some members of the Free Movement of Skills and People Committee. They include Ms. Lindis Harris, CSME focal point in the Ministry of International Trade, Ms. Cecile Hull, Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of National Security, Ms. Shernell James, Labor Commissioner, and Mrs. Tricia Francis of the accreditation body within the Ministry of Education. The panel will discuss what the CSME Skilled Certificate is, the categories of workers who qualify for the Skilled Certificate, the benefits of having a Skilled Certificate, and other matters with respect to the free movement of skills and people within the single space. Working for You is carried live every Wednesday on ZIZ Radio and participating radio stations on Wednesdays from 1 to 3 p.m. The program is also streamed live on the SKNIS Facebook page. And as we wrap up local news, the Federation received another centenarian on Tuesday with the birthday celebration of Newtown resident Ruby Thomas, more affectionately known as Miss Matthew and Miss Boland. The celebration took place at her newly renovated home, courtesy of Parliamentary Representative for Constituency Number 1, Dr. The Honorable Jeffrey Hanley, and the East Bastia Women, Men and Youth Group. Presentations of bouquets and baskets were made from the Office of the Governor General, the Ministry of Community Development and Social Services. Dr. Hanley also presented Miss Thomas with a bouquet and thanked her for her years of service to the Newtown community.
On behalf of the entire East Bastia constituency, as the parliamentary rep for the constituency and one who has been with Mrs. Matthew for many years, it gives me great pleasure to present this bouquet of flowers, and I'm so happy that I'm able to present it to her while she is living at this golden year. So thank you very much, Miss Thomas, for all that you would have done for the entire Newtown community, and I pray that God will continue to bless you as you go from strength to strength.
Ms. Thomas thanked everyone individually for each gift presented and thanked God for bringing her to 100. We now move on to news on the regional scene. Police in Jamaica will be cracking down on persons they say are breaching the Disaster Risk Management Act. Here's more in this report.
Flagrant disregard of the 3 p.m. curfew imposed as part of COVID-19 restriction measures. This queue contains persons leaving the Helsha Beach in Portmore.
So this is all who say them bad and I go at Helsha. This is what going on. You see that? This is all the traffic from Helsha and everybody going into that truck.
That truck.
Well, look like and that truck. Line up now, so look, people are lined up and are going in that truck. All who can hear.
Police and soldiers here in Helsha are checking every vehicle on the road since 3 this afternoon. There were 3 such operations in St. Catherine, Helsha in Portmore, Caymanas River and Old Harbour Bay. In Helsha, our news team observed scores of vehicles bumper-to-bumper traffic for several hours. We were told over 20 persons were ticketed and several others taken to the Greater Portmore Police Station for questioning after giving false information to officers. Police say they went to the beaches and river around midday today, warning persons to go home, but they say they were largely ignored. The curfew for the Heroes Weekend runs from 3 p.m. to 8 a.m. until Tuesday. Giovanni Dennis, TVJ News.
And head of the Police Corporate Communications Unit, Senior Superintendent Stephanie Lindsay, says the joint operation is still ongoing.
And this operation started sometime after 3 o'clock because they got information that a number of persons were at the beaches and the river. So as a result, they went there and they saw a number of persons. So some persons were cited for breaches of the Disaster Risk Management Act and are being processed right now. The operation is still ongoing, so I've not gotten a summary of the results of the operation, but we do know that some persons were ticketed, some persons were warned for prosecution, and some persons were arrested.
Despite having been a contentious topic of debate in recent years, the IDB believes that the distribution of a portion of oil revenues in the form of cash grants to the public is one of the best ways to truly bring equitable development to Guyana. Here's more from Bibi Bacchus.
Given Guyana's serious development needs in the face of a rapidly growing oil economy, a recent report from the Inter-American Development Bank supported the view that the Guyanese government should strongly consider distributing a portion of oil wealth back to the public in the form of cash grants. Since Guyana has a relatively small population compared to the magnitude of oil resources, such a program can rapidly improve the living standards for the average Guyanese household, pending the imposition of several control measures and the verification to ensure transparency. Taking many factors into consideration, the IDB said it is clear that cash transfers aim to alleviate poverty in the short term through the redistribution of wealth, and in the long term by building up human capital among the poor through improved education, health, and nutrition. For Headline News Update, Bibi Bacchus.
And on the international scene, soldiers have opened fire on demonstrators gathered at a protest site in Lagos, Nigeria, that has been the epicenter of widespread rallies against police brutality. According to several witnesses, Nigeria's Lagos is in a 24-hour lockdown and millions of people are under curfew across the country. Demonstrators have been on the street for days over police brutality, and now many witnesses say those who swore to protect them are now shooting them. Al Jazeera's Ahmed Idris reports from Abuja, Nigeria.
Let them shoot, let them shoot. No problem.
Security forces opened fire at crowds in Lagos, and there are reports several people have been killed. Amnesty International says it happened as they tried to disperse demonstrators. Ahmed Idris reports.
Just hours after a curfew came into effect, the security forces started moving in. At the Lekki toll gate in Lagos, several different witnesses recorded footage of what appeared to be security personnel shooting at protesters who were blocking a major highway. A number of people were reported killed. It began as peaceful protests to demand an end to police brutality. and for 2 weeks, the government struggled but failed to calm protesters. Their demands, among others, include far-reaching reforms of the police and the prosecution of officers accused of extrajudicial killings, torture, and disappearances.
No cure is going through. Since we have been protesting, we have not had any reasonable result. So we want out Buhari to come and address us. If not possible in Aso Rock, he should come down to Lagos and address the citizens. That's what we can do. We have been crying every day so that they can hear our voice, but they don't want to listen to us. But I believe this what we are doing, we are going to hear good things.
And senior lawmakers are lining up behind some of the protesters' demands.
I will not sign off on a 2021 budget that does not include adequate provisions to compensate those who have suffered violence and brutality at the hands of the police in Nigeria in the last decade.
Which means the country's 2021 budget could be delayed. On Monday, protesters blockaded Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Lagos, Nigeria's busiest. The same day, these images appeared of prisoners, among them violent criminals escaping when 2 prisons in Edo State were attacked. The prison authorities say nearly 2,000 prisoners have escaped. More worrying is the looting of the armory in the correction facility. Here in Abuja, nearly 24 cars were destroyed. Already states have started enforcing 24-hour curfews, among them the financial capital Lagos, which is also home to the country's busiest ports. This could mean more trouble for an economy already in a poor shape. The President of the Senate has asked the President to address the nation to calm the situation, but it's not clear if that will be enough to placate the protesters. Ahmed Idris, Al Jazeera, Abuja.
Hatis Sengiz, the fiancé of murdered Saudi journalist Jamal Khashoggi, is suing the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, Mohammed bin Salman, or MBS, in the United States over the journalist's murder. Al Jazeera's Shihab Ratansi reports.
The 7-count civil complaint is being filed in Washington, D.C. against Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and 28 other Saudi nationals. It alleges that the defendants formulated a conspiracy to lure journalist Jamal Khashoggi from the U.S. and then kidnap, drug, torture and dismember him at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul in October of 2018.
Mohammed bin Salman murdered him. I want the truth. We know who is responsible, but we want the whole truth, and we want accountability.
The lawsuit has 2 primary goals: to have a U.S. court make a determination that Mohammed bin Salman is directly responsible for Khashoggi's murder, and finally to reveal what intelligence governments around the world possess about the plot.
We absolutely want to get discovery first and foremost, not only from Saudi Arabia, but also from the United States, where we believe that they do have documents and tape recordings that are pertinent to this case.
Khashoggi's widow says the ultimate goal is to prevent the Crown Prince's accession to the throne.
No one behind this most gruesome murder should have any role in becoming monarch.
Mohammed bin Salman denies ordering Khashoggi's murder, and the case has been declared closed in Saudi Arabia following the conviction of 8 unnamed defendants in September. Legal experts suggest that the civil suit may face complications in the U.S., especially as long as the accused remain outside the country. However, at the very least, it may make the Crown Prince reluctant to travel to the United States for now. Shihab Ratansi, Al Jazeera.
And now for the weather. Present weather shows clear skies with light and variable winds. Current temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. That's 77 degrees Fahrenheit. Seas are reaching 5 to 7 feet. The high surf advisory is in effect. Expect fair to partly cloudy conditions with a 30% or low chance of showers today, and for tonight, mostly fair skies. Sunset today will be at 5:44 p.m. and the sun is expected to rise tomorrow at 6:05 a.m. And just before we wrap up, I want to make a quick correction. Today is actually Wednesday, October 21st, not Tuesday. And that brings us to the end of the ZIZ Midday Newscast. Join us this evening for these stories and more in detail. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your presenter, Shaira Flanders. Have a good one.